Hello everyone!
Hello!
We are back! And a couple of weeks ago, I posed the question, what do you want to know about my time working at Disney World? So, thank you to all those who answered via Instagram and Twitter. So today, I'll be talking all about my experiences working in Walt Disney World and specifically Epcot. Yes, there are 4 parks in Disney World. Magical Kingdom, which is a lot like Disneyland. There's also MGM, which is like the movie-themed park. We also have Animal Kingdom, which is like a safari. And then Epcot, which is all about learning and discovery.
じゃあ、まずはなんでディズニーワールドで働こうと思ったか?
Okay, so I was in the final year of university, and a representative from Disney came to do a little presentation and a set of interviews.
誰でもそれは応募できるの?
As long as you're a resident of the US and you are going to a university, then yes, you can apply. So the interviewer seemed to like my smile, and the fact that I could speak Japanese was an added bonus. And so I got the job, and a few weeks after my college graduation, I will be heading to Orlando, Florida. To be honest though, I didn't really have anything lined up, like a job. And so I just wanted to show the people around me that I had something to do. And so that was also part of the reason why I decided to go to Disney. But I also just love Disney.
他の友達とかは、もうでも仕事を決まってる人はいっぱいいたの?
Some of my friends already had jobs lined up. Some, like me, were going to start looking after graduating. In the US, there wasn't really anything called shūkatsu, like where you wear black suits and you go to all these different companies. So it really depended on the person's field of study. The Disney College program is an opportunity for university students to experience working at Disney. People could join one of the parks. They could be working at a Disney-themed restaurant or a Disney-themed shop. It really depends on your personality and what they feel will be the best match.
ルックスとかは?
Of course, looks. So when I tell people that I work at Disney, people often think, oh, were you a costume character?
中に入ってる人?
No, there are a lot of other types of jobs at Disney, and so I had a different job. So for the college program, you could choose between a 6-month stay or a 9-month stay. And so I decided to do 9 months. There were also dedicated apartments for Disney College program employees, and I stayed in one called Vista Way. 3 bedrooms shared by 6 people.
一部屋2人ってこと?
That's right, that's right. And these were people from all over America, from very different backgrounds. I was reserved, and up until then, I only just hung out with like Asian crowds. And there weren't a lot of Asians to begin with, and probably no Japanese person besides me. And so I definitely felt out of place. My roommates, they're young, and they like to party. And so almost every night, there'll be a loud get-together in our place with lots of alcohol, and I just didn't want to be a part of that. And so I did drive there, and I had a car. And so one night while they were partying, I just snuck out to my car, and I was just reading in a dark car. It started to rain a lot, and at one point I was like, what am I doing here? What's going on? Should I just leave? But I had just started. I was there to have the experience of working at Disney, and so I decided, let me just focus everything I have towards my job. It was a complete shift in mindset, and working there became my life during those 9 months. Now, you don't get to find out where you'll be working until you go through the 2 days training. And so it can be very nerve-wracking, right? You don't know what kind of job you're gonna get. You go to a place called Disney University. So this is actually one of the folders that I had from Disney University.
そんなのあるんだ。小学生のやつだった。
So, after my 2 days of training, I was told you'll be working at Epcot Center in outdoor foods. Well, you know when you go to Disneyland in Japan, you have those carts and they sell popcorn, or churros, and things like that.
アイスとか?
Yes, that's what I do. And at the outdoor foods in Epcot, we specialize in popcorn, nuts, pretzels, of course, drinks, ice cream, one turkey leg stand.
ナッツとプレッツェルはないね、日本にはね。
Yeah, right? But it's really good. The nuts are, of course, sweet.
そうなんだ。
They have almonds, pecans, and they're glazed.
あ、キャラメリゼみたいな感じになってるってこと？
That's right.
美味しそう。
And when you get it freshly made, it's still warm. So it tastes
いいね
really
いい
good.
ね。作りたてってことか。
And so at Outdoor Foods, there's two types of jobs. There is the people who are out in the carts selling the food and the snacks. And then there are people in the backstage. They were called the stalkers. And so they would get the stuff and then push it out into the parks. And there were 3 different costumes. One was just a regular striped one. That's what the stalkers wore. And then out in the parks, you had a variety of kind of embarrassing uniforms. One was like this purple and pink one. It looks like it hadn't been updated since 1980. The other one was the part of the World Showcase in Epcot, and they had all these different flags. That one I really liked. Wherever your cart is determines what outfit you wear. At Outdoor Foods, there was a mixture of people from the college program and the local residents. And I would never forget my first day of on-the-job training. And so I went out to the carts, and this Hispanic middle-aged woman, she showed me how to set up the popcorn cart. Of course, I had never actually worked in retail until then, and so just handling cash was new to me. And then she also showed me how to clean the popcorn carts. Like, oh, you have to use vinegar to wipe it down so that it'll be safe and sanitary. But yeah, I learned quickly. And in a couple of weeks, I felt like one of the fastest ice cream and popcorn sellers on the park. Whenever you would run out of stuff, you would get a walkie-talkie and you would request more stuff and then deliver it out to you. And it was a lot of fun being out there interacting with the guests. Most people, when they come to Disney, they're in a great mood.
そうだね。
Right? And so I had no problem smiling back, greeting them, and just making a lot of fun memories for our guests.
なんかじゃあすごい思い出に残ってることとかないの？
Sometimes these squirrels would pay a visit.
へー。
And when you would scoop the popcorn, of course, some of it will fall out. The squirrels would come and get those. They would be standing in the fence behind me, and then people would walk by and they're like, oh, look, it's Chip and Dale. And it really felt like that. And then the ducks would also come out of the lakes to start nibbling on it. And they're like, oh, it's Donald Duck. So I felt like I was able to participate in the magical atmosphere of Disney. The second memory was when I was working at World Showcase. So I was wearing this shirt with all these different flags on it. And then my pin had a little Japanese flag on it. And that showed the guests that I could speak Japanese. And so at that time, I was working at the drink cart. And these 2 Japanese girls came by. I guess they were on a summer vacation. And they flew from Japan to Florida. They saw me and they saw my flag and they got so excited. They're like, oh, this person speaks Japanese. Wow. And then they're even like, oh, can we take a picture with you? I guess because of my uniform, I look special. And so somewhere out there, there's a picture of me, going like this with my Disney uniform on. But throughout my time working there, I never met any famous celebrities. I guess most famous people have VIP treatment. And so they would go to like special restaurants and things like that. But I did have one sour experience. We were closing up the cart. It was right around the time the fireworks shows began. A person came by and said, oh, hey, let me get one of those ice creams. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, the cart's closed. And so this person got really upset. I guess it was ice cream for his nephew or daughter. I'm not sure.
あ、子供もいたんだね。
So he got really upset and he told my manager, and I got in trouble for that. I was just following protocols. Apparently, this person was an important person at Disney. And so they were upset that I wasn't giving good customer service. So in retrospect, I guess I should have broken the rules a little bit and served them ice cream. I'm not sure, but that was one sour memory. The other great thing about working at Disney is that on your days off, you get to visit the parks entirely for free. And so you can go to any of those 4 parks all day long and just have fun. Of course, you end up spending some money there, right? You get souvenirs, you buy food. And so the system of the college program is brilliant in that you make money, not a lot of money, it's like $6 an hour, but then you end up spending most of that on the weekends when you go to the parks.
そうよね。行くよね、結局。
They even had special events for cast members. And so they would close the parks early, and the cast members would have the parks all to themselves.
いいね。
That was amazing. So during that time, I rode Tower of Terror over and over and over again until I was feeling really sick.
そりゃそうだ。
During special holiday seasons, you would get up to about 70% off. Yeah, so I would go to the gift shop and I would buy a whole bunch of stuff. For example, this Mickey doll. I got this when I was working at Disney. I never thought my kids would be playing with this someday. It's starting to look a little bit beat up, but this Mickey comes with a lot of good memories. And when I was working there, it was right around the time that they were building Hong Kong Disney. And so we would have people coming over to train for those parks. So I made friends with so many people from Hong Kong, and I still keep in touch with them even today. So like I said, I poured everything I had into my work, and after a couple of months, I was promoted. So I went from working out in the parks to becoming an ICC, which stands for Inventory Control Clerk. And so these are the people who stay in the backstage with the walkie-talkies to receive all those orders. They would put them in the carts and then instruct the stalkers to push it out to those specific carts. Because I became an ICC, I was able to form a lot of good relationships with the people working there. And even outside of work, I would organize events like bowling nights and karaoke nights. And so the people at work became my friends at Disney. Shortly before leaving Disney, they gave me this little signature book. And in it, there's all these different messages from the people that I work with. Isn't that amazing? It just keeps going on and on and on and on. So in looking back at my time at Disney, the greatest gift that I got was the people that I met and the friendships that I made. Of course, I also gained a lot of transferable skills like customer service and leadership skills. And these are things that I still use even today.
一番思い出に残ってる話は?
So this was when I was working as an ICC, and it was after the parks had closed. And we were counting the ice creams, and the inventory was off by like an entire box. And so when that happens, someone probably miscounted. So I had to go back out to the parks to check the ice cream and make sure that all the boxes are accounted for.
めっちゃ大変だね。
But because the parks are so big, our department had a couple of segways. So normally it would be very dark out in the parks, but this was in November and they were getting set up for the Christmas season. And so they were testing out all the Christmas lights and all the music. And so even though it was after hours, the Christmas music was blasting and all the Christmas lights were on. And it was just me by my lonesome riding a Segway through the park to check ice cream.
すごい。
Yeah, it was amazing and I felt like I was in a dream world. Really.
誰もいないのにね。すごいね。じゃあフロリダにあって東京ディズニーランドと C にない乗り物とかある?
There are a whole bunch. Like I said, in Epcot there was a world showcase. And so they have different countries and each one has different attractions. And at the time, Soaring had just come out. So I was able to ride Soaring.
そうなんだ。乗ったことあるってことじゃん。
Yeah, it's
向こうの?
such a beautiful ride.
東京のはまだ乗ってないのにね。
Hopefully we'll have a chance.
あとはなんかジャングルクルーズがなんか違うって言ってた。
Yeah. So here, Jungle Cruise is a ride. And you have like hippos and things and they're clearly fake, right? If you go to Animal Kingdom, you're actually on a real life safari with real animals.
サファリパークってことじゃんね。すごい。このマンキーもいるけど。じゃあさ、なんかスタッフとして働いてたから実際ディズニーランドとか C に行った時にあ、これはこうなんだよなとかなんか考える？思っちゃう感じする？
Surprisingly, Tokyo Disneyland and the Disney parks in the US, they're very similar. Even though it's run by different companies. Oriental, right? Like the buildings, the way everything is structured, it's all very similar. And so I imagine the backstage is very similar as well. When I see them walking backstage, I know what's going on. But I must say, Disneyland here in Japan has some really good customer service, even better than what I was used to in the US parks.
じゃあなんかこのポップコーンの人頑張ってるねって思う?
I know how it feels, and so of course I'm extra polite to them, extra thankful. But the variety of popcorn that they have here in Japan is very different. In the US, we didn't have all those different varieties.
じゃあなんかこの人はなんかちょっと慣れてる人だなとかわかる？なんかあの人ちょっとプロっぽいなとか。
To be honest, it doesn't take that much skill to serve popcorn. But I feel the Japanese staff are very well trained.
東京ディズニーランドだったらなんか最初に来た時になんかステッカー貼ってくれたりとか、 子供はなんかバースデーステッカーとかくれたりとかするじゃん、そういうのもある
？Absolutely. We call these take fives. And so there are different ways to make the guest experience better. And so just like in Japan, we had little stickers that we can give out to kids or guests for their birthdays. Okay, so now that we're in the Disney spirit, in a couple of days, we're heading to
Disney Sea!
That's right. And of course, we'll be filming that, and so we'll be sharing that here on this channel. And so I hope you can all look forward to that. If you have any questions that we weren't able to answer today, please leave them in the comments section and we'll be sure to get back to you. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you
next time!